Good morning. It's time for coffee talk. It is Sunday, way too early. What is it? 6:11 in the morning, and here we are. I've got my coffee. It is a French roast this morning, quite nice. I've got my hazelnut in there, and I know some of you don't like that. We're going to talk about that in just a minute because I did some research on the internet with one input, and I think I've got some important information I need to pass on. We'll get to that in just a minute. As far as the stream and the channel goes, everything's cooking along nicely. Still getting enough stuff and content to do 2 videos in one day. Just let me know. Kind of curious. I asked this question a while back. Would you like me to do 2? Most people said yes. I can dial it back to 1, especially if it's diluting. If it's diluting the stream of videos coming out, I don't know. Maybe it starts to get repetitive. On that front, I am still working on Cliff. That is the next map room. I know that was pretty well received, so I am working on Cliff. I need to get that one knocked out. And when I say working on it, it means I haven't started. That means I'm thinking about it. But hey, that's closer than not thinking about it, I guess. I don't know. I'm grinding the 50 TP. You can see it in my garage right there. I have the tier 9 now, and it is stock, and it's stock. So it's a little rough. Although I do have a 6,000 damage game to show you here in the near future with the stock 50 TP against a team that I don't know what they were doing. There was a couple games yesterday, so I've been grinding the marathon, the British Marathon, and I've been playing my Sheriff account, which comes with the WOT NACC thing, with the community contributor thing, over this weekend, and there were several teams where I don't even know what was going on. Some of the strangest gameplay. To be quite honest, I've had some of the strangest gameplay in the last about 5, 6, 7 days that I've seen in a long, long time. Very strange. So map's coming up. Map room Cliff is coming up. Still grinding, trying to get to the tier 10. It's a stock tank when I do my streams, which I have been getting quite a few of those. So come by and see the streams. Guido Cartel, Guido 1212 Cartel. I always say I'll put the links and things down there, but I never do, don't I? Well, I'll try this time to make sure I've got my Twitch channel. If you haven't checked it out, go ahead and check it out. All the recordings from the Twitch channel I leave up there. They last for 2 or 3, 4 weeks, something like that. All right, I said we would talk about coffee, and I did some important research. So I know some people don't like the frou-frou stuff. I like hazelnut. Some people like creamer or sugar. Honey, I don't know about honey, but and don't put the fake sugar stuff in there. That stuff will kill you. Still, though, let's see if we can find here. We're going to go over to the second monitor. Stand by. Technical. Look at that. Okay, so the important research that I did, I went ahead and I typed in, because I don't want it to be a biased question. Studies say stupid people drink black coffee. I just wanted to throw that out and see what kind of research I could come up with. So coffee for health, positive and negative effects. AARP, that's for old people. That's right up my alley. I don't know how it knew. Maybe Google knows something about me. What do you think? Yes, they do, the rat people. Drinking lots of coffee could be making people dumb. That's not true. That's not true. Psychopaths drink their coffee black, study finds. That's true. Okay? I'm going with selective truth. So for old people, not true, true, just to recap. Doesn't make you more alert. That's also not true. Do coffee and tea really dehydrate us? I don't know. I think so. 3 secret women's, I'm not even going to get into that. What was fake on the internet this week? Coffee and psychopaths. That's also not true. Why shouldn't you put salt in your coffee? Do we need a study for that? How plastic straw bans have changed people's lives, and why my kids drink. Oh, thank goodness, coffee. So I thought that was pretty important research to bring to you. Finding out if stupid people drink. I think it's inconclusive, except for the psychopaths part, which is true, and the report that it was fake on the internet, which is not true. Let's move on. Okay, it's time to get the shill on. Let's start shilling. Now I'm gonna hit my coffee cup. Gotta have a drink of coffee first, though. because coffee doesn't wake you up. That's why I'm not wide awake right now, except that I am at 6 a.m. in the morning on Sunday. Time to shill. Here we go. Well, I'm a CC now, right? So I have to shill. Well, we've been doing this the whole time. In this section, we'll go through and look at anything that's a good deal. Maybe even look at some of the bad deals, see what's going on. I do have one interesting thing to point out today. However, in the featured, remember the featured are the specials. They're the new specials. There's featured and specials, but a featured is specialer. So it's featured. So you have to click on 2 tabs to get the special featured specials. Look, guys, stop making so many clicks on your website. Combine these. These are ridiculous. I mean, maybe you'd call it new, but what if you had a click on specials and then you had a section that said new? And then I don't have to click so many times to find stuff? Is it a massive deal? No. Is it a minor annoyance that doesn't need to be there? Absolutely. Cromwell, Tiger, WZ111, some other cats and dogs. Nothing really amazing in here. Some good discounts as far as 21%. The best discounts are on the most expensive stuff, so I'm not going to spend $94 on an Alpine, I was going to say War Tiger, Alpine Tiger War Chest, because I don't want all the rest of the stuff. Of course, I have a WZ111, so I wouldn't buy one anyway necessarily, unless I was a collector. But that's the whole package deal, and talking about the large cost of items in this game, which is pretty amazing, actually. However, they do sell, I would assume, since they continue to bring them out. It's just a very high price point, I think, for a video game. My opinion only. So nothing really special there. On the gold, we go over here. Other than the Cromwell B, that's a pretty nice tank. This quick starter kit is still here, which I think is interesting. I've noted it multiple times, and I'm just really curious how long it's going to last. My assumption is until I use it. But I wonder if it actually expires at some point. There are no days left on it, so my assumption right now is it stays there. It's not a bad deal, actually, if you're just starting. 100,000 credits, 1,000 gold, 3 days of premium to let you look at it and go, all right, for $5, I'm going to play a weekend of World Tanks and see if it's interesting. I think I would up the credits a little bit, though, to help people, because by the time you try to get to Tier 5, and you can get to Tier 4 or 5 if you're dedicated in a long 3-day weekend. You really can. So, but that's just my opinion on that one. This is all my opinion, actually, isn't it? Guido, your opinion sucks. All right. Nothing else really in there. Let's go to premium account. There is something interesting here. There is a discount on 30 days. It is rare for discounts on premium accounts. Rarer than the rest of the things that they discount. The year ones are probably the best deal. You usually find them around the turn of the year, or it's like the turn of the century at year's end, or New Year's, actually. This is more commonly called. I'm going to start calling it year's end. It's year's end. Oh, man. See, coffee, it does not make you hyper. I might be a little hyper. Hey, this one's interesting. I'm going to yell it when I do it. If you remember a few months ago, if you've been following me, I bought a tank, at least I thought I was buying a tank, that had some premium time with it. And I didn't get my gold for the tank because I owned the tank. It was one of the smaller tier 3s or whatever. And I expected 800 or 700 extra gold. Because the deal is, if you own the tank and you buy it in the store, then you get the gold equivalent. Be careful, because the gold equivalent is minus whatever the percentage of the discount is on the... It drives me crazy. Anyway, that's not the point of this little story. This vignette, if you will. I did not get the gold, so I sent in a ticket to support. I said, hey, didn't get my gold. That's no fair. I bought a tank. It had some premium. I didn't get my gold. And they sent me back a note and said, no, you bought some premium and it had a tank, and when the tank's the secondary item, you don't get the gold. And I went, what? They said, yes, it's in the details. I said, you're joking me. You gotta be joking me. And it was right there in the details. And I went, can you rethink that? And they said, no. And so I said, all right, I'll just eat my 250 gold or whatever it was. I actually posted it on the forums, and there was quite a wide variety of opinions. I would say that people whose opinions I generally didn't care for anyway thought that that was just fine. Although some people whose opinions I liked thought it was fine. And then I think it seemed like the majority of people thought it was BS. Anywho, the reason I'm bringing all that little story up is that this does not say that here, even though this little guy is sitting in the tab that says premium account, because my first instinct was, ooh, this is one of those deals where you get 30 days of premium and an extra tank. But it says VIC Viper, it doesn't say 30 days of premium. And down here, it does not say in the details that you will not get the gold. I don't know. I just throw that out for you because goodness knows what could really happen there. Okay, vehicles, this is all the same stuff. Anything new here? Centurion is still around. 50T is on sale, 34.3, 42.02, Cromwell B, and the rest of the cats and dogs. There's a few more discounts down in there on things. Here is the Carnarvon Action X. Notice that it says minus 60%. We'll get to that in a minute on the missions, but that's because I am at the 60%. What am I was going to say bonus. What am I looking for? Discount level, let's put it that way. Or the sixth, what do they call it? Stage? I think it's stage of the Carnarvon Action X Marathon. I suspect I will get to 70%, and that will probably make it well worth it. Right now, it cost me $30 to get it. Starting to become a better deal for a Tier 8. Actually, a pretty decent straight-up deal at 70% off. Plus, you get a lot of extra goodies in there with it. Once you knock it down to, I think, 70% or more, you're really getting a great deal. And clearly, 100% is pretty fantastic. But, as you will note, I am not anywhere near that and will not be able to trip it. It only goes to the 28th, so you got 5 days. We'll talk about that in just a second. Specials. Remember, these are the old featured, not the new featured specials. These are the old featured specials. Tiger, 34.3, WZ, Cromwell. There's nothing really new in here, and all of a sudden the Carnarvon Action X thing is there. Notice that there's just a lot of repeats in this. What's the word I'm looking for? There's a lot of duplication. Here we go, duplication. That's what happens when you have 3 tabs that basically do the same thing when you add in the vehicles tab. We get some other cats and dogs down here. Okay, one other thing. Okay, that's going to be my affectation today. Okay, let's go over to this little thing. I had a coupon. So, I love their monetization, guys. I mean, I'm a CC. This is a great game. Don't get me wrong, but their monetization guys are, well, they're monetization guys, I guess. We're not gonna call names. That's not really what I wanted to say anyway. I didn't want to call a name. I just interesting decisions. I had a coupon. It's right here. It says coupons, and if you have a new one, you have a little red dot, and you go, ooh, red dot. That's something important, unlike the little blue eye, where something important is, which we'll get it to in just a minute. That was foreshadowing, by the way. Gold cash back. New, red, new. Look, red, new. Ooh, I got a coupon. I had a red dot. New, 3 days. That's important. I need to know that 3 days I cannot get my 1,250. That's important. But what else might be important on this? Well, if you're like me and you've already navigated some of this stuff in wargaming, and I'm telling you now, if you're not like me and you haven't navigated some of this stuff and you plan on it, make sure you look on every little bit of the sale, that if it's information or details. Now this says on other things it's details. I don't know why it's not standardized. I can't tell you, but let's go ahead and hover over this little guy here. So I've received a special offer. Fantastic. Thank you, Wargaming. That's cool. Right on. Spend more than $15 on qualifying purchases. Qualifying, we'll get that in a minute. Within the premium shop, you get 1,250 in gold. Cool. That's cool. Restricted purchases include, oh, here we go. Discounted items. Oh my God, you're kidding me. So I can't get my 1,250 gold if I buy an $80 package that's discounted at 12%. Is that what you're telling me? That's right out. You cannot have 1,250 gold if if you buy a discounted package, fella. Now, if you buy the whole package, if you spend $120 on it, straight up, no discount, We'll give you that. We'll give you that 1,250 gold. Also, two, any amount of gold package doesn't work either. Oh my God, you're kidding me. The first thing I thought when I looked at this, I said, oh, well, okay, I got a little money in the PayPal account. Why don't I buy a little gold and I'll get 1,250 extra, and that's a deal. I give them some money for this electronic good of gold, and they're going to give me 1,250 gold. But nope, it has to be full price, and it can't be any amount of gold. But it can be like a little bit of gold on the other packages. So I suspect one of the things they're doing here is they don't want somebody to buy the minimum amount of gold, which is maybe 500 or whatever it is, and then get 1,250. Okay, I got that. Why not make it minimum any amount of gold purchase of 2,000 or 3,000 or something? Why not actually make it? Actually, I'm sorry, they've already covered that, haven't they? $15 US. So why do you have the... It's not even that. They're not even trying to cover the guy lowballing with a 500 gold. They already have a $15 minimum on it. What? Who cares if they buy gold? What? The any amount of gold is right out. It's right out, and if you spend $80 on a discounted package, that's right out too. You don't get your $1,250. That's... Oh, fellas, man, you know what? It's hard sometimes. I would, all kidding aside, on a serious note, without dogging them on this thing, I would really love to understand why, to have them explain why they would do that. They don't owe me that explanation. The internal workings of a marketing unit in a large business like this are probably best kept out of the public arena. But just from my interest, I would love to know what the discussion was and why those things are there. Or are they just the fever dream of some low-level marketing operative who decided to throw that crap on there? I don't know. Probably runs the gamut. Anywho, I'll not be using that coupon because that's simply on principle, because those two requirements are silly. Well, maybe I will use it. I'm less inclined to use it, though. I am less inclined to use it. Let's move on to the missions. There is actually not much going on missions-wise this weekend. It's kind of quiet. British Challenge is still going. I guess that's not really quiet if you consider a massive challenge marathon thing. So maybe that's what they were counting on this weekend. This is the middle weekend, right in the heart of the challenge. You can see that I have got to the 70% discount, or I am currently moving to the 70% discount, even though that says 7. I haven't finished it. It has to be the one that's green. That's why I have a 60% discount. And it is called stage. It is not phase or whatever stage. And on this one, I'll actually get some camo, which is kind of cool, Royal Hunter camo. And I suspect I will trip this one. I might get to 80%. I don't know if I have that much play time in the next 5 days to knock that out. And one thing that's been costing me a little bit, I probably have about 20,000 experience that I would have earned when I played my sheriff account, but that doesn't transfer to this British Challenge. It'd be cool if it did, actually, if they let you, the two different accounts, work towards that kind of thing. But whatever, that's bridge too far, more than likely. So going pretty well on that, actually. Not bad at all. On the other missions, it is a ×3 weekend, I believe. Let's see what we got. Yes, ×3 experience on your first win, so that's okay. Back to the missions tab. We have the tank mastery stuff. That's standard. We have a 277 on track. On tracks are a good deal, especially if you're running up that line. Market Garden is still going on. You can see that I have finished it. That will go on to the 25th, so we've got about 2 days left. And then the other missions, which is this back to school thing they typically do every year. I've been indifferent to this. There's some actually pretty good stuff in here, but you need to watch it a bit and make sure that you're running the right tanks and that you're doing the right thing each day in order to get the amount of little tickets here and get it done. I do have my heavy tank diploma, so I did manage to do that one, and that gives equipment. So pretty good deal, actually. And the rest of them give, I believe, equipment. Yeah, there you go. So if you do the medium tank diploma, you manage to do 10 of the tickets, and I've only got 5 so far. Then you get that. I might actually be able to finish the medium tank one, because this goes to 1 October. This actually goes for a while. Unfortunately, you can't tell that. Can you? Once again, you cannot tell that from the main page. Flummoxed. I am flummoxed again. Why does it? It's other missions. Should we go on to this rant again? Should we dive once again into the failure of their UI people? This one says Operation Market Garden. Perfect. That's what it is. There's the date. Fantastic. Other missions. That's where, if you're lazy and you're the UI guy putting on the missions, that's where you dump all this stuff because you don't want to create another one. This should say back to school or whatever the heck it is that they called it. And then only the back to school stuff should be in there. Is that all we have now? There used to be other ones mixed in. Could be that we're all down to only the back to school items. We are. Unless I Shot the Sheriff is hiding in here. Is I Shot the Sheriff hiding in here? Medium. Where'd the sheriff thing go? Huh? It is. It is hiding in there still. There it is. It is still hiding in there. Oh, come on, guys. Look, there's an Other Missions tab. That's where you put cats and dogs. I wouldn't even have that. I'd have I Shot the Sheriff as a heading. Anyway, some of that is driven by the potato computers that some people play the game on, that they have a min requirement kind of computer at 720p, and if you look at it on a screen like that, and some of you may actually be using that kind of screen, then it's not nearly as detailed and big. I've got a nice wide screen. I've got good resolution. I'm able to afford that. That's all, I'm lucky in that way, blessed in that way. But I think simple things like headings can certainly obviously be done even on a smaller computer, and it sometimes makes no sense in here. But those are the specials and the missions. Did I have something else? I thought I had one other thing. Oh no, we're going to talk about that later. We are definitely going to talk about that one. I'm not even going to say what it is, so let's move on. I did forget one thing on the missions. Under campaigns, the Chimera is open now, but you can't do that unless you finished Excalibur. Has anybody finished Excalibur? Let me know down below. I haven't even come close. I've got 10 of the Alliance ones done. One of the problems with grinding the Polish tanks is when this kind of got going, I had a few medium games left, and then it's mostly the heavy tanks that I've been grinding for a while, and the Polish are in the Alliance, so I've only been able to trip the Alliance missions, and there's a bunch of stun missions, which your heavy tank isn't going to do, so this is really kind of on the back burner for me right here. Alliance is right here, but this is kind of on the back burner for me right now. But the Chimera, if you have finished your Excalibur, the Chimera is now open. I don't really know why they limited it. It was like a month or something, and then this one's not for 16 days. Maybe it was 2 weeks for the Chimera. I guess they didn't want people burning through and showing up with a 279 within 4 days or something, but very strange. Anyway, it is open. All right, in other news, a couple little things going on. You're going to be able to recover your premium vehicles again here pretty soon in the store. There is a workaround on it. You can look in the forums for it, but it will be in the shop. It'll be its own tab for recovery. I've never had to do this because I don't sell premium vehicles. I don't understand why you would, but apparently people sell them constantly and buy them back. I don't quite understand that, unless it's shifting room around in their garage or rage selling it, at which point, if you're that mad, just stop playing it. But there you go. It's coming back, which is good. The preferential matchmaker tank changes are still ongoing on Super Test. And what it comes down to is a lot of gun buffs, some mobility buffs, a few depression changes, and some armor buffs. Pretty much across the board. The most interesting ones to me are probably making the 112, 34.3, and the WZ-111 more accurate with the big potato guns, that big 390 Alpha 175 pin, the ubiquitous Russian potato gun. And it's going to become more accurate. It's going to have more penetration, so that should make them more competitive. Remember that the preferential matchmaking is not going away. That's why this is very interesting to me. The Type 59 and the Super Pershing, the thing on those two that's going to be important, I think, is they're both getting quite a mobility buff. A lot more horsepower, a lot more horsepower to ton. So they should be much more agile and mobile. In the case of the 59, that's very interesting because it is a bit sluggish for a medium. One of its great strengths in the past was its mobility, which got nerfed twice, I think, at least. It's also getting a buff to its turret from 200 to 230, and it's got that really rounded Russian turret. They may be going a little bit overboard because you look at the increased power to weight of 14.44 to 18.06. Wow. Almost 4, so 3.5 or so. Same thing really for the super Pershing, 3 and some change on that. Some armor buffs across the board there on the IS-6. On the KV-5 armor buffs, one of the most interesting is R2-D2 is going from 140 to 160. Wow. The roof apparently, and the weak point on the mutant, which I don't know if I've ever been pinned there on those. That's interesting. This thing is already a bit broken on the front, so that interest piqued my interest a little bit right there. It's also getting a buff to the gun, or no? Oh, wait, it's up here. Yes, from 198 to 204. Not a huge buff. What I don't know is what the buff, if any, is to the gold round or to the premium round on these. That will also be an interesting thing to know. And then last but not least, yay, the T50-2 is coming back. Anyone who's been around as long as I have has seen the T50-2 in the game. Back when the tanks were glued to the ground and there were no physics, this thing was an absolute terror along with the T50. Definitely going to have been power creep by other things. It is essentially an LTTB. It's going to be a lower tier, I believe. Tier 6, I want to say. So I doubt it's going to be the same form and fun that it used to be, but it is a well-known tank, and it will be interesting to see it come back to the game. Maybe a lower tier LTTB. Essentially, the LTTB fights exactly as the old T50-2 did, minus one thing. The old T50-2's gun was pretty anemic. The LTTB's gun, I'll spit it out, is actually pretty darn good. All right, shout out to the various blogs that I use: Armor Patrol, Status Report, Daily Bounce, and Tracks Up. Appreciate those guys and the work that they do. This is off of the Armor Patrol. Hey, did you hear the one about loss insurance? Let me tell you about loss insurance. I don't know that much about loss insurance. I haven't been able to figure it out. I've never got it. Although I think you've seen me on my stream lose 5 or 6 in a row and be top. I was never offered the loss insurance. I'm wondering if there's an overall stat level at which you don't get this. I suspect maybe there is, because I had a couple streaks in there where I was at the top of the leaderboard on losses multiple times in a row. There is something that trips this offer. It is on the Warchild, put this on the forum, so you can find it there as well. But it's also here in the Armor Patrol in the top thing. The gist of it is, if you do badly enough, you get offered this daily insurance, and it gives you more experience and credits for a loss where you are doing well, or maybe it's just double for X number of battles. Now, initially this was free; they just gave it to you, and that's been going on for maybe a week or two, I think, to float the idea. But now apparently it's to be bought. Think about that for a minute. You're doing poorly, and then you can pay more money to get extra money for doing poorly. Extra in-game money, credits, and experience for doing poorly. And free XP as well. Holy cow. Now here it is in the store, and I have not been able to find this. Now, whether it shows up because you've been offered it, I don't know. Because when I go to the store, let's do this right now. We're going to do it real time. All right, this is like live with Guido. We're going to go over to the premium shop. Let's see, what is he looking in? He appears to be, well, it's hard to tell. Maybe boosters. Is it boosters? Perhaps it's buried in boosters and I don't see it. Credit boosters, XP boosters. No, there's no insurance. It does look like this. It's the same little book looking thing. Maybe it's a special. Is it a special? Is it all the way at the bottom of the specials? No, sir. Well, if I can get there. Oh, good Lord, there's a lot of specials. No, there is not. So what I believe is happening is that doesn't appear until you're offered it. And then you click on it, I assume in-game from the client, and it takes you, looks like, to the web page. And you can buy X amount of insurance for losing. And it looks like it costs, because I'm old, $30 or $9 or $5 for 10 of these things. And it appears to be for each game. So 100 games, $30 for 100 games of loss insurance. The requirements of which I do not know, but it adds experience and credits and free experience for losing. I'm not exactly sure what to say about this. Part of me just says, all right, it's a marketing gambit. If they can make some money off of people who want to buy loss insurance, and it helps that person feel better about their gameplay, and maybe they can move through the game a little bit more because they spent some money, and they stick around, they spend more money, then that's maybe a win for everybody. The other part of me wants to say, what the what the frog? What the fedora is going on here? Wow. So I'm of two minds on that. I'm not going to come down and say it's ridiculous. I don't. Initially, when it was free, I had a slight concern that people would tank games to get it, so then they could run X number of games with extra credits and experience. Because that seems like a botter's wet dream to me, to be quite honest, where a bot's going to do badly anyway, and all of a sudden he's got loss insurance. He turns that on, and bot's better. He's a better bot than he was before by a legal and sanctioned insurance policy. That's like insurance fraud, right? That just struck me. Essentially, we've got insurance fraud now within World of Tanks. I'm going to say also that bringing any kind of thing like insurance into a massively multiplayer online game is kind of a poke in the eye to me. I mean, it's bad enough I have to deal with insurance out in life. Somehow now is insurance going to become required in World of Tanks, because in order to keep up you got to have insurance? No, I don't think so. I mean, you can do plenty well without it. I don't think that's really going to be the case, and I don't think that's what they're trying to build. But once you start doing something like that, now people try to figure out how they're going to maximize that, right? Somehow within this insurance plan, there's going to be a way to maximize the capability of it. So it is either going to be useless and no one's going to use it, or people are going to learn how to exploit it somehow. And it's just another level of exploitation or gameplay, even a little bit to some extent. I mean, if I'm trying to lose to get the insurance offer, where are we? Anything that incentivizes playing badly, I don't care for. Even if it is on the side of helping someone who plays badly, well, that doesn't necessarily incentivize it. He probably goes in and goes, I've got the insurance. I don't really care what happens. I'll go drown or drive off into the corner and sit, and I'll use my insurance and I'll get a little bit extra. That's just, it's maybe not incentivizing someone to play poorly, but it's not incentivizing them to get better or play better or try harder. I'm sure there are people who use it and go, thank you very much, I am trying harder, I will get better. But at the same time, this kind of handout stuff is, okay, it's not a handout, they pay for it, got it, but I think you understand what I'm saying. Rewarding poor performance, supporting weakness, that's just not something that I'm really into. But as I said, I understand the incentive for it. I understand why people would want it to some extent. It is a bit pricey, as most things are in this game, so that was an interesting price point. And I would love to know how many they sell, but we never will. They're never going to tell us, but I would be interested to find out if this stuff was actually even selling. I'd imagine people used the heck out of it when it was free, but I never saw it, so I don't know how it works. I don't know the details of it. I can't find it on the web page. My assumption, as I said to begin with, is that you have to be really bad to get it, and maybe that's good. Maybe validate me. Tell me I'm too good to get an insurance. I don't know. I just thought it was weird. Has anyone out there been offered this, and how does it work? Put it down in the comments. I'm very curious on this one. I've been watching it for about a week. I think that's about when it came out, maybe a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. And I've searched around a bit. I can't find that much information on it. It's posted in the forums. There's nothing that I can find official on the webpage, which is also very, very bizarre. And that is, let's go off on a tangent for just a second. That is so wargaming to not put out the information on something like this, which is actually pretty big. So what's the incentive for that? Are they trying to keep it hush-hush? Do they, not as in it's a complete secret, but as in they just don't want to advertise it and get it out there? Was it just a test run? Are they just gathering data on it? Are they embarrassed about it? Is it just a failure of marketing and monetization to talk about things and make some kind of plan that makes sense via the web page and the game and the UI and everything else? I don't know. I watch this whole gig go on pretty closely, right? I mean, I make the videos. I'm always on the web page. I'm checking things out. I don't know what the heck's going on with this. I have no idea, other than a post by Warchild on the forum, and now, which has essentially been reposted on the Armored Patrol. This is everything I know about insurance, loss insurance, which is a big deal. It's bizarre. It's bizarre. All right, let's move on. Well, okay, everybody, that's about it. Looks like it's getting light outside. Somehow it's getting light outside, but it's getting darker in here. The whole lighting thing, I got to figure that out. I need a lighting expert. I don't think this room is really set up for studio kind of action. I did ask if you guys wanted a green screen, but you thought the room added more reality to it. What is in my room, actually? I got a globe. That was a gift when I retired, actually. It's got a quote from Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Mr. Hunt, got the whole world. I can't remember how that went. Spicoli. This is a Spicoli quote. I can't remember. I got I got my Tomahawk, actually. Tomahawk from the 1st Infantry Division in Korea. That's pretty cool. It's not a real Tomahawk, but a Tomahawk from my Korea gig. Got a G.I. Joe thing because you got to be a man-child and have your little toys. It's 2 guys talking about shooting down each other's watches. And I got a cartridge from it's an engine starter. It's like the shotgun engine starter, but it's a huge cartridge from something like a C-47 or one of those big radial engines that was started by that. So that's my printer, yeah. I got my printer, and then my file cabinet full of bills. You guys want that? I'll send the bills your way. And then, of course, there's the big window back there, because this whole place is full of windows, which is probably part of my lighting problem. In the day, it's not too bad. When it gets really bright, then everything gets washed out bright. But right now, it's all dark. So that is a lot more than you wanted to know about the lighting of my room, of my little office. Anywho, that's it for this week. This week, I'm not actually done with my coffee. I didn't drink a lot. I was too busy. Also too busy ranting. Plain cup today. Got the plain cup. Very nice. That is the cup that I mentioned weeks ago that I don't know where it came from, and I still have no idea where it came from. What are we going to be doing this week? I'm going to try to continue doing some streaming. Come by when that happens. I will attempt once again to put the link down there in the details. We are going to continue to grind this guy, the tier 9 50 TP. Oh boy, here we go. Markovskigo. I got the Markovskigo. Now I've got to go look up the pronunciation. This one's even Tizkiwiza. Oh my god, that's gonna, never mind. Thai. So Thai right here. These appear to be the names of the developers, is my assumption. So here it is. It is stock, as you can see. If we jump over here to research, we might as well go off into another random tangent just for giggles. I am looking to unlock this first, and it appears based on the comparison tool that I can put the big gun on it without anything else. So we're going to race up to the big gun, and then we're going to get the tracks. Probably need the tracks to put the turret. If you don't, I'll put the turret on first, but I believe so. Tracks, then turret, then engine, and then we'll grind out this big beast, the tier 10. So we'll be grinding, we'll be streaming, and I will be running some sheriff account stuff. So come by and see me. The sheriff account stuff's pretty fun, actually. I'm not a very good sheriff. I don't die very much, at least not so far. I've got like an 80% win rate, or 78 or something on that. Only 40 battles, but for some reason I do well, which probably has a lot to do with I can play any tank I want. The crews are completely maxed out. I can run almost pure gold loadouts on them. And I don't really care, so for some reason I play better. Which I can't figure out. There's probably some psychology in there. All right, that's it. Done talking. I am going to play a few games, enjoy my Sundays, watch some football. Do you guys watch football? Who's a college football and who's a pro football? I'm both. I'm strange. A lot of people want to... Time for another tangent. People want to say, oh, college football is the best because of the emotion and anything can happen. And the other people are, pro football is the best. That's where the skill is. That's where the money is. More interesting, the spectacle of it. I like them both. I watch them both. Let me know down below, pro or college. And, if you're into soccer, just, I don't know. Let's see you guys.